I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
It's time! It's Sunday, February 28th, 2021. This is the Church of MMA podcast. My name is Mason Knight. This is episode 63, Rozenstruik versus Gane recap. And then after that, we jump into some MMA news. And then we talk about the UFC 259 preview show. But before we begin, Tabor, you guys may have noticed Tabor Cragen is not here today. And I have a very serious announcement. It's been really hard. It's been it's been reeling in my brain the last week or so. You guys kind of know the climate, what's going on in this country right now. And, Tabor has been very vocal. He has his opinions. And, the UFC is associated with ESPN, which ESPN is owned by Disney. Man, this is hard. This is going to be hard for me to get through. But the CEO of Disney, Bob Iger, called me earlier this week. I believe it was Wednesday. And he told me that Tabor Cragen has officially been canceled and to not have him on the show anymore. It was a tough executive decision, but it was one that had to be made. We have to do our best moving forward now, as it's just me and the ghost chair here. But you know what? I'm going to give you guys, week in and week out, the information that you guys need to know here in the UFC. So you guys can follow our social media accounts, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, The Church of MMA, and be sure to check out our YouTube channel too, guys. We're up to 433 subscribers there, and if you guys want some church merch, you guys can find that link in the description below. Now let's get to business. Now, I am just joking about Tabor, actually. He didn't schedule his weekend well, and, he's a little busy tonight. But he's busy for a good reason. His little brother is signing up to join the Marines, and he had a send-off today. And, my shout-out's actually going to go early this week before we jump into anything else. My shout-out's to Steely. Thank you so much for serving this country. It's men and women like you that help protect us and make us the greatest nation in the world. So shout out to Steely Cragen. All right, let's talk about this, guys. And I want to give you a full warning. I'm not used to going solo. I've never had a solo channel. I did like a Night Strike MMA podcast. I did like 4 episodes and realized that, my voice is not good enough, nor are my ideas good enough to really run a show by myself. So I've always liked to have a counterpart. So this episode will definitely be cringe, but I really do believe in consistency when it comes to podcast and getting out content each and every week. So I will try my best. So let's jump into this. Let's talk about this main event, Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Ciryl Gane. Look, before we really even jump to the fight, I just want to talk about the card in its entirety. I'm one of those guys that literally do nothing except just hang out all day Saturday. Because, obviously it's my day off. I got the weekends off. I watched this card from top to bottom. Phenomenal fights all the way through. If you didn't get a chance to check out this fight night, it's definitely worth it. From top to bottom, there were some really, really great fights. So I just want to shout out to all the guys on the prelims, all the women on the prelims. You guys really kicked ass this week and put on some entertaining fights. Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Ciryl Gane. Out of all the fights on this card, the reason why I prefaced with, how great the card was, this one was a snooze fest. To really no fault of Ciryl Gane or Jairzinho Rozenstruik, I understand that both of them respected their power. And dude, you saw it in that first round. They were throwing haymakers. I thought for sure someone was going to bed. But unfortunately, that just really wasn't the case. And we got 5 rounds of dancing. They would throw 1 or 2 strikes, but not really engaging, just respecting the power too much. But, I understand. Those boys are big, they're strong, they're powerful, and I'm sure they checked out the fight night last weekend, So they probably didn't want any of that smoke from either one of them. But nonetheless, Ciryl Gane, now at 8-0 in the UFC, this guy is impressive. It's like, who do we give him next? Who do we give him next? We got to give him a top contender in this division. This is only Rozenstruk's second loss, one of them being to Francis Ngannou. I mean, so what we're talking about a savvy, I'd like to say almost a vet now. It would seem like he's fought the best of the best in the UFC, and Cyril Gane went out there and beat him for 5 straight rounds. I really do believe after John Jones, this guy deserves someone big. Maybe the winner of last weekend's main event. So let's go Derek Lewis versus Cyril Gane. Are you fucking kidding me or what? Sign me up for that. That's a fight I'm willing to see right away. Number 1 contender spot, excuse me. And then after that, they fight the winner of John Jones versus whoever the heavyweight will be coming up in, not too long from now. So, nonetheless, not the best fight, but it
is what it is.
Thank you, Max. It is what it is. So I'm going to go into the church coin bets, guys. If you guys don't know how the church coins go, we give ourselves a set amount of church coins, and me and Tabor both bet on them this week. I will relay his because, again, Ghost Chair. Ah, hello, Ghost Chair. Nice to see you. So Tabor picked Rozenstruik, put 200 church coins down, so he did lose that bet. I also picked Jairzinho Rozenstruik, and I also lost 200 church coin on that. So let's move on to the co-main event, Nikita Krillov. I used to think it was Krylov, but I was hearing Bruce Buffer say Krillov. So let's go Nikita Krillov versus Magomed Ankalaev. And, this fight kind of went down the way I expected it to. I got to say, Nikita did impress me that I believe it was the first round. He looked good, and I thought he was going to put up a fight, and he did. Overall, I was really impressed with what he did. But Magomed Ankalaev, man, this guy has continuously gone out there in the first round and knocked out his opponents. We know he's got knockout power. The question with a guy like this, especially at the light heavyweight division, is can he last all 3 rounds? Does he have the gas tank to sustain a hard-fought fight? And we got that answer, guys. We absolutely got that answer. That 3rd round, Magomed Ankalaev looked so impressive, and he pressed the pace, and he kept the pressure on. So shout out to Magomed Ankalaev. I knew you were going to get it done. The biggest bet in church, the Church of MMA history with the church coins, I put 2,400 church coin on Magomed Ankalaev at a minus 345 favorite. And he got the job done. So I gained a 580 on that. Tabor put 500 on Ankalaev as well. And he will win 145 church coins. So let's move on to the Montana De La Rosa and Myra Bueno Silva. Majority draw. And I think that's probably the right way to go. I believe, there was a point taken there. It was a decent fight. I thought Montana did enough, but, the judges didn't think so. It wasn't an egregious call. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
I'm going to hit that button a lot, folks. All right, moving on. Pedro Munoz. Actually, no. Church coin bets. De La Rosa. Tabor put 100 church coin on her. I also put 100 church coin on her. But again, majority draw. So it is what it is. We both lose it technically, but I think we'll just add both of them because we bet the same. All right. The Pedro Munoz versus Jimmy Rivera fight. Are you kidding me or what? Guys, this delivered as good as it did back in 2015. It was a great fight. Jimmy Rivera won that one. Pedro Munoz got the second fight. He got it done. But and we all know this, guys, but those calf kicks were brutal. I believe it was after the end of the first round, Jimmy Rivera goes to his corner and he goes, "My fucking calves are killing me." And I guarantee we're over there saying that bullshit too. Yeah, it is number 1 bullshit. That hurts, folks. That hurts. But man, Pedro Munoz just got it done. So damn impressive what he was able to do against Jimmy Rivera. And this was just a fun fought fight. These guys were throwing haymakers back and forth, putting together combinations. I'm really impressed with these guys. And no love lost there. We will definitely get that trilogy fight. I can almost guarantee that. All right, let's move on. Alex Caceres versus Kevin Croom. Hey, look, Caceres is no joke, folks. He just won 4 in a row. I know he's had a tumultuous career, a win one, lose one kind of guy, but I think he's starting to figure it out a little bit. And people were, I know the commentators were freaking out that he got rid of that triangle. And I did think it was pretty deep. But again, in the post-fight interview, Alex was like, hey, my legs were burning. I had to release, and he felt that in the third round. You could see both these guys were tired, but Alex Caceres just kept pressing the pace. And at this point, guys, I mean, he's won 4 in a row. He's a vet at this point. I mean, it's been years. What did he win? Ultimate Fighter 12 or something like that? 11 or 12? Don't quote me on that. Go look it up. I'm a schmuck. But, hey, 4 in a row. We got to get this guy someone. He deserves a top 15 guy, unquestionably. I picked Caceres, put 225 church coin on him, and won 100. Tabor went with Croom, lost 100 church coin. So let's move on to some MMA news. All right. George Masvidal says he wants to come back in August or September. You know, it's news, guys, but it's really not news. Like, we kind of all knew that. We kind of expected Kamaru Usman to fight him, but now we don't know what's going on with that fight. So the question really is now, it's like, what's next? What's next? For Jorge Masvidal, I mean, where are we in this division? Sorry, guys. Bear with me. I'm trying to pull this up here. Colby Covington, Gilbert Burns, Leon Edwards, Jorge Masvidal. Those are the top 4. Masvidal says he wants to get back in it. Leon Edwards has got a fight, obviously, with Bilal. Remember the name Muhammad, so that fight probably is not happening. So the only guy I can see is either Colby Covington or Kamaru Usman. I've told you guys this time and time again. I really do not want to see Jorge Masvidal fight for the belt. I know he only had, 4, 5, 6, whatever, however many days. You know, the guy could have 3 years. He's not going to beat Kamaru Usman. I think Jorge Masvidal is an elite contender, and I respect what he does. I respect, he was back in the backyard brawls with Kimbo Slice. Like, this dude's a warrior. He's legit, and he's one of the top contenders in this division. But I just think Kamaru Usman is special. And you put a gun to my head and you say you can only put one fighter in that octagon, I'm either going Leon Edwards or Colby Covington in that rematch, both of them. So I'm not going to take Jorge Masvidal there. I just don't think stylistically those two match up. It's not to say in another world, if Kamaru Usman wasn't the champion, that Jorge couldn't also be a champion. But I just think that matchup is just not good for Jorge Masvidal. But he's saying he wants to come back in August or September. So toots and magoots. All right, whatever. I guess that's news. Usman versus George. We'll talk about the tough coaches for a little bit. Well, who are going to be the tough coaches? We have heard so many speculations, so many rumors. I remember at one point they're saying, it could be Conor and Khabib if Conor beat Dustin. Obviously that one fell through. They're probably going to do that trilogy, Dustin and Conor. Khabib's probably going to vacate, retire. So that kind of leaves the tough coaches up in the air. Usman versus George would be fun. But again, I'd rather see Usman versus Colby Covington as coaches in that rematch. I mean, do you know how much fun that season would be? Those two legitimately fucking hate each other. They hate each other. So if we could see them fight, during the season, pick coaches, whoever won the tough, whatever, if their fighter won, they'd be talking shit. And I think that would make for a great rematch. I mean, I just went back and rewatched that fight not too long ago, last week. And man, it was such a good, hard fought fight by both of those gentlemen. And I'd like to see that rematch first and foremost. So I don't know if you guys saw this, but the picture of Khabib Nurmagomedov, he had mumps just days before UFC 254. His face is swollen like a fucking balloon. I didn't even know that was Khabib when I first clicked on it. I thought it was like a fat image, like, oh, that's funny. It's like, imagine if he was fat and they used a face app, whatever, changer. But no, he had the mumps a few days before UFC 254 and still went out there and fought, still went out there and got the W, and still submitted Justin Gaethje in the second round. Are you fucking kidding me? This guy is the pound-for-pound greatest fighter in the world. I mean, he had mumps just a few days before this fight. We got to start comparing that to Michael Jordan, right? And the food poisoning that we learned. We used to thought it was a fever for years until The Last Dance, but the food poisoning, we got to compare the two. I mean, this man went on a full-blown fight. He put everything out there on the line. His perfect career, the belt, his legacy, and fought a few days before UFC 254. Are you fucking kidding me or what? Khabib Nurmagomedov will always go down as the GOAT. That's insane. And they got the pictures and stuff to prove it. It's not like they're lying. This dude legit had mumps days before the fight. Shout out to Khabib Nurmagomedov, man. I just, and Khabib, I know you're listening. I know you're a big fan of the show. I just want to see 30-0. See, that's even poetry. I mean, it's so beautiful, it's poetic. I rhymed there if you didn't catch it. Khabib, I got to see you fight one more time, man. I want to see 30-0. I think GSP, whatever. Well, I don't want to get off on a tangent. It's just me, myself, and I. Because a ghost chair right over there. See him? Yep, there he is for all my YouTube people. All right, let's move on. Paulo Acosta said he drank an entire bottle of wine before UFC 253. Okay. First off, if you're going to do shit like that, I don't know why you're out there saying that, because you know you're going to get shit for it. What you do is what you do. I mean, I don't really give a shit what you do, man. But obviously not the smartest move. Obviously not the smartest move. You probably, in hindsight, regret that one, don't you, Paulo? But, you know, it is what it is. Last piece of MMA news, guys. I'm kind of flying through this. I'll try to hit a half an hour. It's just like, you know, I hate hearing my own voice, let alone... I can't imagine what you guys are going through if you're still here. Dan Hardy versus Matt Brown is in the works. I guess Dan Hardy wants to come back and fight. You know, maybe it's just one fight. It's cool. It's a cool legacy fight. I'm cool with him fighting Matt Brown, you know, who's also another veteran and Hall of Famer in this sport. Definitely don't want to see him fight a top 15 guy or anything. I think this is a smart matchup. I'm cool with it. You know, I'm cool. I've always liked Dan Hardy. I like the Mohawk. Hopefully he brings it back. That'd be pretty dope. And I like Matt Brown too. And I think it's the perfect legacy fight. If you're going to come back and take a fight, you know, being the savvy old vet, you might as well fight another veteran, make it fun, put it prelim main event, or, you know, throw it on a fight card, main card, you know. So shout out to those two still fighting. It's absolutely insane. So let me go to the preview show. So cringe. All right. So, yeah. 3 title fights. UFC 259, guys. We will be doing a fight companion. We will have Gideon DeMars from the Arguing With Myself. You guys can find that on YouTube. He talks all things NBA. And the guy's knowledgeable. He knows his stuff. He drops videos all the time on his channel. So shout out to Gideon DeMars. Go sub his channel. He will be here on March 6th for our fight companion. And then our other guest will be the man himself, the one and only Cash Kraus, which you can find him. He's got a movie review, television review podcast called Have You Seen It? SCENE. He's got a tremendous co-host, one of the greatest co-hosts of all time. His name is Mason. Same as my name, and it's actually me. But yeah, we do that every day. We drop videos every day over there, guys. Shameless plug for my own YouTube and podcast. So go check that out. Go subscribe there if you like movies and television. But they will be on the fight companion this weekend. We're looking forward to UFC 259, guys. It's going to be a great time. So let's talk about this main event here. Jan Blehovich versus Israel Adesanya, as Ariel Helwani more commonly says. You know, one of the most shocking things, I think, just looking at this fight on paper are the odds. You know, obviously, Jan Blehovich is the light heavyweight champion of the world, and he is sitting at a plus 200 underdog. And I'm telling you right now, folks, I really, really, really like the value on Jan Blehovich at a plus 200. That's just insane. Israel Adesanya coming in as a favorite at a minus 240, 20-0, middleweight champion of the world. Are you fucking kidding me or what? This is going to be a banger, folks. You know, I had my reservations about this fight. I really believed that Glover, even though I know it doesn't sell, okay? First and foremost, I know this fight does not sell. But as an MMA purist, I really had a hard time with Jan Blehovich fighting another champion in this super fight, and he's never defended the belt. That was problem number one. Problem number two, Glover Teixeira is on the end of his career, and he has strung together some very impressive wins in this light heavyweight division and deserved the next title shot. And I thought that could have been a fight that they could have thrown on a week pay-per-view, throw it on, and then, you know, winner of that takes on Izzy. I do understand why they scheduled it now. because if Israel Adesanya, if he were to go out there and become a double champ, John Jones has got a decision to make. I mean, does he allow Israel Adesanya, a man who he quite frankly despises, does he allow him to hold that belt? Does he? Do you think John Jones could put his ego aside and become that? If he does become the heavyweight champ, you don't think he'd drop down and fight for that light heavyweight belt just simply because there's a man who has his belt that he despises? Don't want to get too ahead of myself, but these are all things running through my mind in this fight. Now, how do I see this going down? Obviously, Jan Blehovich definitely has the power advantage, where Israel Adesanya will have the speed and countering advantage. So how does this shake out? And I keep going back and forth on this. It's one of those things where I'm like, do I believe Izzy is big enough for 205? Yeah, I do. Is he going to be the biggest 205? Because let's keep in mind, folks, Jan Blehovich is a big boy. He is a big boy. I don't know. I think it basically boils down to this. If Jan Blehovich can land that Polish power right on the chin of Israel Adesanya, Israel has only been knocked out one time in a kickboxing match. That's it. That's the only loss he has. As a mixed martial artist, he is perfect, okay? Kickboxing, he has one loss, one knockout. So we do know that Israel Adesanya can be KO'd. You're talking about a man who's got a lot of power, who has knocked out a lot of folks and has had a resurgence in his career. I mean, looking at Jan Blehovich, would you have thought that he was going to be the light heavyweight champion even back in 2017 and 18? And that's no disrespect to Jan at all. It was just he was on a bit of a skid. He was kind of the guy that people forgot about in this division, but he ran through the reins of this division and became champ. And I got a lot of respect for that. A lot of people counted him out and he was able to get it done. I think if Jan Blehovich were to win this fight, the only way he could win it is via knockout. And I'm not saying much. Most people are predicting that, but that's just the damn truth. It's just the damn truth. The only way Israel Adesanya wins this fight is for one, he's not KOing Jan Blehovich. I'll tell you that right now. And yeah, that might be a hot take, but Jan ain't going out. He ain't going to get KO'd by a middleweight. This is not happening. So Israel Adesanya has got to win via decision. So that's the question here. Can Izzy win at least 3 out of those 5 rounds while you've got this Polish power beast on your ass trying to KO you? And that's what actually makes this fight fairly intriguing. I think the only way Israel Adesanya wins is he's got to win by decision. He's got to win 3 out of those 5 rounds. And, he's got to try not to get KO'd. If I'm picking here, we're not going to do church coin bets right now. I tried texting Tabor like an hour ago. He's at that dinner for his brother going to the Marines. Tried to text him, but he has not texted me back his picks. Therefore, I'm not going to make my picks yet. But we will tweet him out or something so you guys do know that. But I'm going to give you my prediction right now. I think Jan Blehovich wins this fight. And would I be surprised if Israel Adesanya won? No, not at all. I mean, this is one of those fights, really, that is it's very intriguing because you just don't know what's going to happen, right? You have no idea. But I think Jan's got a ton of power for light heavyweight. Israel, I don't think, has dealt with that power. And if Jan lands one time, the fight's over. The fight's over. I mean, Jan's got so much power, it's fucking ridiculous. So, my pick is Jan Blehovich. I think he's going to knock him out in the second round. So there's my pick. Let's move on to the co-main event of the evening. Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson. Are you fucking kidding me or what? Did you guys see these odds? Did you see these? Amanda Nunes is coming in at a minus 1,100 favorite. Yeah, let me repeat that. Amanda Nunes is coming in at a minus 1,100 favorite. That means, folks, for those mathematicians at home, if you put $1,100 down on Amanda Nunes, you'd win $100. That is insane. I have never seen odds like this. Outside of Valentina Shevchenko, I think one time was a minus 900 favorite against Jennifer Meyer or whatever. This is insane. Megan Anderson coming in at a plus 700. Guys, I'll just give you my pick now because you guys all know it's Amanda Nunes. It's Amanda Nunes. I don't think anyone ever beats her, ever. But again, there's literally no value. There is no value in betting for Amanda Nunes. So my money goes to Megan Anderson At a plus 700, I'm picking Megan Anderson to win this fight just based on that. I'm betting on her to win the fight. But let me kind of give you a breakdown here. Amanda Nunes has been the most dominant female fighter in women's history. What she is able to do for the sport has been astronomical. It's one of those things where you'll look at Amanda and you just go, she's going to fight till the day she retires and no one's going to beat her. And that's no disrespect to Megan Anderson. None at all. I think she's a phenomenal fighter. In any other time, in any other alternative universe, Megan Anderson would be the featherweight champion of the world. Let's not kid ourselves. But you got one little problem. You got the lion in front of you. You got Amanda Nunes. It's just crazy, like how easy Amanda Nunes makes it look. Ever since that Cyborg fight, and even then, people, she was a plus 200 underdog, and I was in Vegas for that fight, and I bet the house on Amanda Nunes. I knew what I was seeing. I was seeing the greatest of all time, unquestionably. So for Megan, how do you win this fight? You're asking the wrong guy. You're asking the wrong, because I don't see any holes in Amanda Nunes' game. I don't. I think she is one of the greatest fighters in the world. Hall of Famer, obviously, double champ. And I just legitimately don't know how you beat her. So let me give you a little advice, Megan, because I know you're watching. You're a big fan of the show, and I'm a big fan of you. You're a great fighter. I think you'd be a champ in any other, and really don't mean to disrespect you here. But I think the only way she can win is just kicking those calves. I think that's been the recipe. Calf kicks have worked in the past, and they have taken down, some champs. So I think the only way you win is I would go to the calf early. Try to debilitate that leg, and then you got a shot. But outside of that, man, Amanda Nunes is the real deal. So as far as a bet, I'm going to put some church coin on Megan Anderson, but y'all know that Amanda Nunes is winning this fight. Are you kidding me or what? Pedro, Aljamain Sterling, the third title fight. This isn't even a co-main. 3 title fights, guys, on this card. Well worth the $70. Petr Yan, after coming and beating Jose Aldo, I didn't think Aldo deserved the shot coming off that loss, but it is what it is. Tomatoes. We are here. The true uncrowned champ is finally getting to go at the belt. Aljamain Sterling. You guys know that I am hyped on Aljamain Sterling. This guy has been phenomenal. I bring it up all the time, but I was at the last loss that Aljamain Sterling had. I saw that Marlon Moraes knee and Aljamain Sterling being taken off a stretcher and me just being devastated because I was such a huge fan. You follow his career after that. He has strung together some of the most impressive. What? Did you guys see this 2-3 weeks ago? Corey Sandhagen versus Frankie Edgar? That flying knee? Yeah, that's Corey Sandhagen. You know what Aljamain Sterling did to him in the first round? Submitted him. Aljamain Sterling made that look easy. Now, do I think if those two rematch, do I think it would be that easy again? Absolutely not. Corey Sandhagen is a phenomenal fighter. But it's just a testament to how good Aljamain Sterling is. He can beat you anywhere. He can beat you on the feet. He can sure as shit beat you on the ground. Petr Yan showed a lot of heart in that Jose Aldo. He showed he had the stamina, the gas tank. But there is something special about Aljamain Sterling. There's something special about him, folks. I have no doubt Aljamain Sterling's going to go out there and get that win. I have Aljamain Sterling winning this fight, becoming the new bantamweight champion of the world. Are you fucking kidding me? All right. Islam Makachev versus Drew Dober. Hey, Islam Makachev versus Drew Dober. This is going to be a phenomenal fight. This is Islam Makachev 18-1. Versus Drew Dober, 23-9. Islam Makachev is coming in at a minus 360 favorite, where Drew Dober comes in at plus 280. But, Islam Makachev, I think he is another one of those guys who is just a special fighter. I see Islam Makachev making easy work of Drew Dober and winning the fight. So let's move on. Thiago Santos versus Alexander Rakic. Man, this is going to be fun. And I'm glad to see Thiago Santos back at it, Again, Glover Teixeira, just brought him up earlier on the podcast, deserves the next light heavyweight shot, didn't get it. But, it is what it is. It is what it is. I know, Dana.
I don't give a fuck.
I know you don't, Dana. I get it. I understand. It is what it is, you know? But yeah, no, nonetheless, Thiago Santos versus Alexander Rakic. Man, this is going to be a barn burner. Someone's going to sleep. I can almost guarantee it. And guys, this is how stacked this card is. That Thiago Santos and Alexander Rakic is the opener. It's the first fight on this card. It's the first fight on this card. That's insane. This is one of the most stacked fights I've seen, I believe, since the other fight that was 3 title fights. It was Max Holloway, Alexander Volkanovski, Kamaru Usman, Jorge Masvidal, and then maybe Valentina might have been on that card. Don't quote me. But yeah, this card is just stacked from top to bottom. I like this matchup. I think it's good for both these fighters. You know, I think Thiago Santos is going to go out there. Man, but Rakic, he's a dangerous mofo. I tell you that much. He is dangerous. I'm going to go Thiago Santos. I think he's going to get the job done. I like the value at a plus 145. Rakic coming in as a slight favorite at a minus 170. But, you know, I really do like Thiago Santos. I'd like to see him get back on track. All right, Dominic Cruz versus Casey Kenny for the prelim main event. Like, Dominic Cruz, one of the greatest bantamweights of all time. He's on the prelims of this. Do I think it's disrespectful like some are saying? Absolutely not. It's a great spot. It's a great spot. You want to be main event on a prelim. You know how many people are tuning into that? The people who don't buy the pay-per-view are the people who watch all the way up to that point. And they're going to watch Dominic Cruz and Casey Kenny go at it. And not only that, but this is a great opportunity for to display his Casey Kenny to display his talents, you know, against a savvy vet like Dominic Cruz, one of the greatest bantamweights of all time, former champ. And the odds here are really kind of crazy. I did not expect this. Casey Kenny is coming in at a slight favorite at a minus 140, where Dominic Cruz is a plus 120. If I'm a betting man, I'm putting Dominic Cruz in a few parlays, guys. Look, I know the Henry Cejudo fight. I know Dominic Cruz felt, which again, you know, I'm going to go back to this. Did Dominic Cruz deserve that fight? No. There are a ton of other bantamweights I would have rather saw fight Henry, but I did think that fight was a little premature, and I do feel for Dom. And then he was going through an injury and stuff. You know, I wish they would not have made that fight. No disrespect to Dominic Cruz, one of the greatest around, but I didn't think he deserved that one. But nonetheless, he's getting back on the wagon, fighting a kind of lesser-named guy in Casey Kenny on the prelim main events. But guys, tune into this one. This is going to be a fun fight. I got Dominic Cruz here. I love the value at a plus 120. I think that's absolutely insane. I think Casey Kenny has showcased what he's able to do, and now he's got the stage to do it against a huge name. But overall, I think Dominic Cruz will get it done unquestionably. All right, guys, that is our cringe-worthy episode 63 podcast. You know, check out our YouTube channel, guys. 433 subscribers. I did my best here. Please be sure to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel. You guys know the deal. You guys want some church merch, you can check it out in the link below. Our social media pages at the Church of MMA. Thank you guys for bearing through this show with me. This is the Church of MMA podcast. My name is Mason Knight, and over there is the Ghost Chair. Peace.